Hello, it is World Wide Web, Wednesday, November 9th, 2022. Steve Sipress here, tail end of a gorgeous sunset going on behind me. Don't know if you can see in the camera. The beautiful, gorgeous purple, blue, orange, red, yellow, I don't know, green, Roy, G, Biv, whatever's going on back there anyway. I think it's called, highspeedinternet.com. Highspeedinternet.com did a survey and released the results. They surveyed about 1,000 American consumers in September, so a little over a month ago. And here are the results, some of them. You can go to their website and check them out, highspeedinternet.com. They found that the average person in their survey is spending 8 hours a day online, and almost half of us are increasing our internet use. Here's an important thing for business owners to know. 75% of consumers either always or frequently research purchases online. However, they still prefer to do their buying in person, especially in a few areas such as clothing, home goods, groceries. They would much rather buy online, in person, excuse me, than online. By the way, they say that they did this survey to see the difference in internet usage since the shutdowns of the last about 2.5 years ago, where people were kind of forced to do a lot of things online, like getting groceries, buying groceries online, getting them delivered, and food and all that, getting all your entertainment at home because there was no sports, or you couldn't go to the movies, or couldn't really go out to dinner or any of that kind of stuff. So they saw that just about all usage, everything online is increasing, especially because of this one here. 60% of people said they're staying home more since before the pandemic. Well, just goes to figure. If 60% of people are staying home more than they used to, they're using the internet more, streaming movies and using the internet for hobbies and playing games and all kinds of things. So some things they prefer doing. They like doing things like seeing a doctor, getting online health care. They prefer, it's interesting, just barely, but they prefer doing business meetings, meeting their boss, online instead of in person. Go figure. Those of us business owners that employ people, no surprise there. Like, we know that even though we pay their everything, they hate us and they don't like us and they complain about us, and that's just the nature of things. If you've ever been an employee, you likely complained about your company and your employer. Why would you think it'd be any different with yours, no matter how happy they are? That's the thing people do. Here are a few of the things people prefer to do the old-fashioned way. Taking notes. Just barely, but more people like taking notes with pen and paper instead of with, typing into a tablet or an online or a phone notes or whatever it is. Reading books and articles. If you've ever tried to read a book, sure, the Kindle, or you read articles online or blog posts or whatever, scrolling and reading the screen. Like, good to see that I'm not alone. I prefer, even often, like I did with this survey, I'll just print it out so I can read it. And I like books that are actual books, as opposed to online and the ebooks and all that kind of stuff. So I will print them out. About 36% of people say they prefer to read books and articles physically. 26% said online, and the rest said they have no preference or they don't know. Making a grocery list. About 60% more people like doing it with pen and paper instead of, again, doing it online. And restaurant menus. Those of you who are restaurant owners and you have the old tablet menus at the table or the iPads they can order from or the kiosk, people prefer physical menus, 42% to 26%. On and on and on and on. So you can go there and check things out. One thing people will buy more online and enjoy buying more online than anything else, tech. So buying tech products, right? Computers or tablets or any of that kind of stuff. People like to buy that online. Most other stuff they like to buy in person. So think about that. If you are doing any kind of e-commerce, or you think all you got to do is get people to go to a website and they'll click and buy. I mean, obviously I have websites for my different programs and services, but I don't expect people to click and buy. In fact, I wouldn't even want them to, no matter how much they could stroke a check. Nobody can work with me. I don't have to work with anybody, and they're not going to become my client by just stroking me a check, right? I got to have a phone call and meet them in person, talk to them, have them fill out a questionnaire, do a little interview, find out about where they're at, where they want to go. Is it something I believe? Absolutely. No, beyond a shadow of a doubt, I can help them. And is it something and someone that I want to help? Makes sense. So for a lot of reasons, I don't expect or even offer people to click and buy, unless it's a low-level, simple thing, like a simple program they can buy online. But once it involves me personally, so if you are an attorney, it's not likely you're going to put up a website and have someone on your website, click here and become my client. Don't you want to talk to them first? But if it's by my checklist for, how to know if you have a good case, or how to do a will or whatever, and I sell that kit, how to do your own will for $100, $200, that people can buy online. Make sense? All right, some questions, comments, concerns. Kevin is here from halfway around the world, and got to be talking politics. So that was yesterday, Topical Tuesday, but of course, since we're here in ridiculous Phoenix, Scottsdale, Arizona, known as Maricopa County, which about 60% of the population of the state of Arizona is in this county. And of course, shenanigans prevail as predicted, as expected by everybody. It was not a question of would there be cheating or incompetence, whatever you want to call it. It was a matter of how much and how would they do it. And this is a new one. I've heard anywhere from a fifth to a quarter to a third of the machines that count the votes weren't working. What, were they not working in the liberal district? No, of course they were just not working in the conservative area. So I laugh because it's not going to make a difference. I mean, thankfully, I do not live in a ridiculously, overwhelmingly stupid state. There's plenty of people vote against their self-interest for whatever reason. They're brainwashed into voting against their self-interest, un-American. But, the American thing is you can vote for whoever you want. You can vote against your self-interest, vote for someone who wants to raise taxes and increase crime and not do anything to stop inflation or crime. Go ahead, you can. But thankfully, a majority of those people do not vote in Arizona. So those people that are for against chaos and for kind of order and less government involvement in life, less rules, less regulations, those people are going to prevail when these votes finally get counted. That I saw the latest thing today. I saw they don't even think it'll be done by Friday. They're like, we've got to double check and triple check the signatures and the this and the that and to verify the dropped ballots in person or the mailed or the this or the whatever excuse it is to drag the thing out. Because of course the fun of the whole thing is that the governor's race is between a non-politician candidate up against the candidate for governor happens to be the current Secretary of State. And in Arizona, guess who's in charge of elections? I can't even say it with a straight face. The Secretary of State just happens to be in charge of elections. And so she wants to at least not have to concede for as long as possible. But that'll probably happen early next week. But the whole thing is a joke. Not the results. I mean, we would like to have less crime and less taxes and more order and more, less corruption in our government here. But look, as I always say, I'm an entrepreneur. So technically, it doesn't really matter. Okay, I create my own life, my own income, my own enjoyment. I'm not susceptible to whatever politicians do. It just changes my tactics. If there's a politician who is pro higher taxes or pro regulation, it just changes my tactics from someone who comes in there with some common sense. So anyway, what are you saying? Well, in this case, I don't know if they're the usual thing, right, is let's delay the voting so we can count the number we're behind and magically appear just enough ballots to win. I think, I don't think there's any chance of that here. I think as it ends up, no matter what happens here, the governor's race, she's going to win by at least 100,000 votes or more. It's not going to be close. The Senate race, however, is another story. And of course, all the other candidates. I'm watching this morning, I'm seeing the results. They're like, oh, the conservative, attorney general is behind. The conservative, treasurer is behind. Because they're all behind by, sure. Like, definitely not. They're all winning. So that's the good news. And in the meantime, it was Florida. Here's the thing. It was Florida 20 years ago, right? The hanging chads and the embarrassment of Florida and people, the election commissioner getting fired, and they sucked, and we didn't know who was the president for over a month, and it went to the Supreme Court and the lawyers and the this and the that. Look at Florida now. Like 2.5 hours after the polls closed, 98% of the votes are counted. Boom, bang. So maybe, just maybe, 20 years from now, or hopefully sooner, Arizona can clean up its act and not be the laughing stock of the country where we can't count, we can't run an honest election, we can't do anything right when it comes to elections. That was one of the campaign platform planks of the platform, whatever issues, things that our outsider renegade Carrie Lake for governor, and undoubtedly our next governor, ran on, was I'm going to clean this crap up. And so the powers that be, the politicians in charge and the unelected bureaucrats, they're like, no, we like it the way it is. We don't want the outsiders coming in with their crazy ideas of cleaning things up and making things work properly. We like the corruption. We like the crap. Enjoy it for another week, because then it's going to be ending soon. So I don't know if we'll become the model, like Florida is one of the models of how to run an election properly, but at least all this shenanigans and BS and cheating and nonsense. Oh, I'm sorry, just malfunctioning machines. Honest mistakes being made. All that crap's got to go away. Come on. Anyway, what are we doing here? I was talking about internet usage, and we got into election results in Arizona. How can you not? Arizona's a laughingstock even for people that live halfway around the world. Kevin, how far away are you from Maricopa County, Arizona? You're in the Philippines somewhere, right? That's like as far, if you go east or west, it's probably equally far away, like thousands of, 11,000 miles away or something. And yet, there it is. Someone 11,000 miles away knows that here in Arizona, Maricopa County, we're the laughing stock of the world. Anyway, that'll do it for World Wide Web Wednesday. Speaking of World Wide Web, somebody told me, check out this is interesting. They said, while you're waiting online outside of the polling place, check out on your phone, look for the available Wi-Fi connections. And so I took a screenshot of that. And then when I went in and was standing next to the tabulation machine, they're like, take another screenshot now and see, is there any additional Wi-Fi that just happens to be going? Because if there is, those machines are not supposed to be hooked up to the internet, and that would be clear evidence of some kind of honest mistake going on, as they say. 11,000 miles away, that's what I thought. You can be 11,000 miles away and still be shaking your head at how embarrassing it must be to be here in Maricopa County, world headquarters, well, maybe not world, but at least U.S. headquarters for chicanery and shenanigans and incompetence and corruption in elections. And so we got that going for us. Way to go. Catch you back here again tomorrow on Throwback Thursday. Thanks, Kevin, and everyone else being here with me today or watching on the replay. I'll catch you tomorrow. Over and out.